dear friends, I welcome you to the final webinar in 2022. My name is Alexey Ognev. I'm the CEO of the DigiU ecosystem. Today, let's go over this year's main events and discuss the plans for 2023. So, it has been an incredibly busy year, and it feels like at least 3 years have passed. In the DigiU ecosystem, I get this feeling all the time. The first year of our project was hectic. The second year was similar to the first one. But the third is even more active, successful and challenging. But we have achieved a lot. Let me remind you of how it was. Let's run through the events that stick in my mind. In March, we went to a strategy session and negotiations in Dubai with all the founders. We planned to develop a technical and business strategy for the next few years. You can check out the vision that each of the founders shared: cross-chain development, virtual world development, and economic strategy. Let me remind you that then it was a tough time in terms of the world situation. The decisions made then in March were very momentous, important, and correct. During this year, we have been able to take many international trips. For example, as part of the DigiU ecosystem, we did roadshows in the project's key countries. We visited Vietnam, Indonesia, and India at the end of the year. And these events can also be considered vital, because for the first time, we were able to get to know our partners, with whom we had already been working for almost 2.5 years. See investors who invested in the ecosystem in person. Listen to how the project is perceived in these countries, and assess the economic, cultural, and political situation. And all this led to a better understanding of our partners and the people for whom our products are created, their needs, goals, and tasks. All these conclusions and insights are still being processed. In addition to meetings with partners, we spent a lot of time on these trips, in negotiations and discussions with companies, educational institutions, and government bodies. Apart from attracting investments and developing our partner network, our big task was to develop business contacts, establish new relationships, and present our products. We also looked at technologies that interest us as part of our ecosystem. In every country, we were surprised by the high development of artificial intelligence, the high demand for these technologies, the high literacy of people, those occupying significant positions in various organizations and structures, and the ordinary people we were able to meet. And it was a great pleasure. Approximately the same work, perhaps 10 times more complex and dense, took place as part of the EVA project. An incredible number of contacts were established with funds, organizations, and many strategic partnerships were made, which will be further developed within the EVA project. Also, several different, probably not immediately apparent, but very profitable applications of EVA cross-chain data protocols were found. You can read about these developments in more detail on EVA's social media and watch the webinars that we regularly host with Boris, Alexander, and our EVA CTO Peter. To look at EVA from the perspective of a single product, which is in demand in the market itself, and to look at it from the perspective of a technological solution, that can be applied not only within cross-chain, blockchain, and liquidity exchange between different blockchains, but also from the perspective of the foundation for building a metaverse or building the virtual world of the DigiU ecosystem. This feature is more important and exciting for me, because it is, as I said, a critical foundation. At the end of this year, we managed to release Ava in the technical mainnet, and the product is working. And we were very proud to tell everyone about this event. And I think many of you have already had a chance to test, use, and appreciate this product's usability and technological features. Now, at the time of this webinar, an auditing company has already been selected to audit the security of the Ava product. And at the beginning of the next year, the project will go into a full commercial mainnet. In fact, this event is also significant in terms of the development of Ava and the entire ecosystem. For DigiU, the Ava project is the first potential unicorn, whose idea originated in our blockchain lab, which was invested in by the DigiU ecosystem's venture capital fund, and which is now successfully developing, despite all the difficulties in the cryptocurrency market, the global economy in general, and the venture capital market itself. We are proud to share this product and discuss its opportunities. So, therefore, this year was marked by very serious technical work for us. And there has been some serious work involved in making contacts and establishing relationships with various projects, funds, and structures who got to know Ava, then the technical team, and then the entire DigiU ecosystem, with our ideas and plans. In most cases, we always saw a very positive impression and such positive feedback, and everyone admired our approaches to achieving our goals. It has also been incredibly satisfying. At the end of the year, we had a procedure that you all know is called X11. We allocated shares to all our investors and reduced the sale rate of the shares in personal account. For many people, this was such an important milestone event because it became easier to promote the project, and earlier investors who had entered the project before that moment got an increase in their portfolios. So this is one of the positive aspects of this event. But most importantly, it was done to prepare the project for a real, audited market valuation, which will take place in the next 2 years and allow us to prepare for other processes that many of you are waiting for. Here, we are not only talking about the public offering of shares. However, this is one step towards that. But in general, this is a crucial stage towards making the company more serious, more visible, more understandable, and able to interact not only with individuals at the level of crowd investing, but also with comprehensible structures and companies, and to offer our products on a slightly different scale. We have launched the critical stage since the end of this year. From the point of view of our investors, it has resulted in an increase in the portfolio and a decrease in the share price in personal account. It also entails a further rapid development of our ecosystem. I hope you watched the conference and listened very carefully to all the founders that spoke there, sharing their plans, successes, but most importantly, plans. And we talked about the upcoming full launch of our venture capital fund. This is the unit that will add speed and discoveries to our ecosystem. And a strong launch of this venture capital fund is only possible with the proper legal structuring. It's only possible with the right way of accepting investments and building interaction between the structures. Therefore, we are now preparing a correct legal concept of the venture capital fund and will present it at the beginning of the year. Accordingly, our task will be to ensure that the fund is rapidly filled with funds, which can be invested in the right technological solutions and promising projects. Above all, this has to do with the state of the economy, the venture capital market, and the market for cryptocurrencies and high-tech projects. We are all seeing a drawdown in that market. And for some people, it's just a drawdown. But for us, it's a very serious window of opportunity. And we often talk about this at conferences and webinars. There are now very cool projects that used to be very difficult to get to a meeting, negotiate, or do something else. They are now in a very serious state of lack of funds. Teams are being reduced, some plans are being cut, and so on. And venture financing for these projects is attracted on completely different conditions. And when someone has a tool like crowd investing, for example, we can approach these projects and for maybe $300,000 to $500,000 acquire a share in the project or a volume of tokens or some other conditions that they offer several times more than when the market was big and high and oversupplied with money. And in our view, this window of opportunity will last for maybe another year. And so, we need to ensure that our venture capital fund is filled with funds. And those projects that we select will join our ecosystem on the most favorable terms. And that is precisely what we will be doing next year. And that is exactly what we were doing at the end of this year. We did the research, established contacts, selected projects, agreed on initial terms on which we could work together, and exchanged technical expertise. Any negotiation is always a long process, if we are talking about something of quality. And even on these trips I mentioned, to India, Indonesia and Vietnam, we paid a lot of attention to the selection of local technology teams, because we are interested in investing in those countries, in those economies, where our partners are located first. And this is another additional incentive to develop both partner networks in those countries and confidence in the project and the product, and to establish strong international relationships. One of the development areas of the venture capital fund will be a pretty intense selection of projects, specifically in those countries where we have highly developed partner structures. So, therefore, our leaders and our national representatives, among other things, will be involved in this process. In this way, they will be able to go deeper into the specifics of this market. We'll be able to transmit information to investors more accurately, and will be able to prepare their teams better. And the very understanding of these venture capital deals always adds a strategic vision and understanding of where our entire world is headed. Whether we like it or not, we are all heading toward global digitalization. And if we take steps to get there in 5 to 10 years prepared, I think the future will be as positive and friendly as possible. If nothing is done, assume that the ordinary person will be fine in a world of digitalization. Well, that is not the case for me, not yet. That is why we have been developing the DigiU ecosystem in every way possible since 2019. We are attracting a large number of ordinary people to the ecosystem. We are attracting many users. We are doing everything possible to educate and broadcast some live positions to get the necessary skills. And we are attracting investments from people interested in technological development and finding the right person and their place in this world. We are implementing the mission of the DigiU ecosystem. Every person in any country of the world should be the primary beneficiary of any modern technology. And that is the motto under which our company goes every year. And next year, as I said, speed will be added to our activities. So, I foresee a rapid development of the ecosystem and a rapid growth of the market. And most importantly, our task is to catch up with the window of opportunity that we have now. I would also like to mention the dividends we pay out. To note, the DigiU Wealth product has been operating successfully for 2.5 years and is paying dividends, even though the cryptocurrency market is now in such perhaps not a crisis, but let's say a downturn. And you all know that. That said, DigiU Wealth investors are increasing both their deposits and receiving dividends. They are happy with how the product is performing, and the DigiU ecosystem is making profits and can pay dividends. Yes, they are yet to be significant for anyone, but that said, they are growing from payout to payout. And on January 15, 2023, the next dividend payment will be made. Well, we are encouraging everyone who wants more dividends to get involved. The easiest task is to ensure that your portfolio is at its maximum. That is, that you have more DigiU shares in your portfolio. Close installments. Take advantage of bonus promotions. Take advantage of some special offers you can get by taking, for example, DigiU education courses, or by receiving special offers that come either in the post or in the Telegram bots. That is all to make sure that your attention, in one way or another, is focused on the project. And you remember to pay your installments or not to forget to fulfill your obligations to the project, because the project is counting on these funds. By selling a project in installments, we reach out to investors. We give people the opportunity to invest convenient amounts. And accordingly, we would like to expect our investors to fulfill their obligations to the company. And we remind them of this in every possible way. And I count on you to take a responsible approach to your portfolio, future, and investments in general. And finally, I wish everyone a good new year. And with pride and warmth in my heart, I say goodbye to 2022. And, with anticipation, let's break together into 2023. I thank you for today's webinar. I thank you for 3 years of developing the DigiU ecosystem together. I wish you a happy new year. All the best.